I started hearing my name from the future. The last message wasn't me. The first time I heard it, it wasn't loud. Not a scream, not a whisper. Just my name. Clear, precise, close enough to feel real. It said, Daniel. I turned immediately. No one there. Of course, because if someone calls your name, there should be someone, right? At first, I thought it was imagination. You know how your brain fills silence, creates patterns, voices, meaning where there is none. That's what I told myself, because the alternative didn't make sense. Have you ever heard something so clearly that denying it felt like lying to yourself? If yes, comment number 1 below. I read all of them. I ignored it. That was my first mistake. The second time was different, because this time, it wasn't just my name. Don't answer it. I froze, because now there was context, meaning, warning, and the voice was mine. Same tone, same rhythm, same everything, except I didn't say it. That was the first layer, because hearing your own voice without speaking breaks something inside you. I checked everything. Phone, laptop, TV, no audio, no playback, no devices active. Silence, perfect, unnatural silence. But the words stayed. Don't answer it. Answer what? There was nothing to answer. That's what I thought. That night, I kept replaying it. Not the sound, the implication. Because warnings don't exist without danger. And if something is telling you not to do something, that means at some point you will. That was the second layer. Because now, this wasn't random. It was inevitable. At 2:40 a.m., my phone rang. Unknown number. No caller ID. No location. No data. Just ringing. Slow. Patient. Waiting. My chest tightened. Because suddenly, the warning made sense. Don't answer it. I stared at the screen. You know that moment where time stretches, where every second feels like a decision. That's where I was. I didn't answer. The call stopped. And for a second, I felt relief. Like I had passed something. Like I had avoided something. But then, the voicemail notification appeared. That was the third layer. Because not answering didn't stop it. I hesitated. Of course I did. Because if you ignore something, it usually goes away. But curiosity is stronger than fear. Always. I opened it. Static. At first, soft, like distant air. And then, my voice. Again, Daniel, if you're hearing this, you already messed up. My stomach dropped. Because I hadn't answered. I did exactly what the voice said. So, how could I still be wrong? That was the fourth layer. Because now, the rules didn't matter. The recording continued. You think not answering saved you, but that's what starts it. Starts what? I leaned closer, heart beating louder than the audio. Listen carefully, the voice said, urgent now. You're going to hear something behind you. I froze, because I already had. Twice. And when you do, don't turn around. My breath stopped, completely, because there it was again. Another instruction. Another moment I hadn't reached yet. Or maybe I had. I didn't move. Not even a little. Because fear isn't panic. It's control. Rigid. Focused. Precise. And then I heard it. Behind me, a faint sound. Like movement. Fabric. Shifting. Weight. Adjusting. Breathing. Not mine. That was the fifth layer. Because now, the warning was real. Every instinct screamed at me to turn, to look, to confirm, to understand. But the voice, my voice, said not to. So I didn't. Seconds passed. Or minutes. Time wasn't clear anymore. Only awareness. Only presence. And then the voicemail continued. I know you hear it, the voice said. Soft now. almost tired. Just stay still. It can't do anything if you don't acknowledge it. Croused, can't do anything? That word stuck. Because it meant there were rules. Something controlling this, something limiting it. And rules can be broken. I swallowed. Slowly. What is it? I whispered, even though I knew it could hear me. Silence. The voicemail didn't respond. Of course not, because it wasn't live. Right? Then the audio shifted, glitched, distorted, like something was interfering. And then another voice, not mine, not human. You always ask that. My entire body locked, because that voice wasn't in the recording. It was behind me. That was the sixth layer, because now it wasn't just following the script. It was reacting. I couldn't hold it anymore. Instinct broke through. I turned. Nothing. Empty room. Same walls. Same shadows. Same silence. No one there. Of course, because whatever this was, wasn't simple. I laughed. A little. Not because it was funny. Because I needed control. This is stupid, I said. Out loud. Grounding myself. Just stress. Just, why did you turn? I stopped. Slowly. Because that voice was in front of me now. The mirror, my reflection, wasn't copying me. That was the seventh layer. I stood still, but the reflection tilted its head, smiled. Wrong. Too smooth. Too perfect. You were doing so well, it said. My voice. Again. But now, there was something else in it. Something deeper. Something older. What are you? I asked. Even though I already knew. That question never ends well. It stepped closer. Inside the mirror. But the distance felt smaller. Like the glass wasn't a barrier anymore. I'm what comes after, it said. After what? I didn't ask. Because I understood. Too quickly. Too clearly. The voicemail was still playing. Behind me. Forgotten. And if you're seeing this, it means you turned. My chest tightened. Because now, everything lined up. Too late. That wasn't a warning, the reflection said softly. It was a test. I stepped back. Because distance feels like safety, even when it isn't. What happens now? I asked. It smiled wider. And this time, I saw it. Something behind its eyes. Not empty. Not dark. Occupied. Now? It repeated. Soft. Calm. Certain. Now I don't have to stay there anymore. The mirror cracked. Not physically. Not visibly. But something changed. The reflection leaned forward. And this time, it didn't stop. That was the final layer. Because the real mistake wasn't answering the call, or listening to the voice, or even turning around. It was believing that the warning was meant to save me. My phone buzzed again. Another voicemail. Another timestamp. Tomorrow. In it, I was sitting on the bed. Still, silent, looking straight ahead. And then, slowly, I smiled. Not like me. And as the reflection stepped out, as my body stopped feeling like mine, as my thoughts became quieter, fading, replaced, I heard one last thing. My voice. Again, but not from the phone. From somewhere deeper. You should have answered. Because now, there was no version of me left to warn anyone else.